Hi lovelies, and welcome at my table. Today we're going on a very special quest, gathering all those yummy ingredients to cook a hearty and delicious stew that is guaranteed to give us strength and stamina on all our adventures through Azeroth. Or just a cozy feeling on a rainy spring day. You know, whatever comes first. We are making the Westfall stew from the World of Warcraft cookbook. In order to see which ingredients are needed, you can have a look in the description box below where I listed them for you. This recipe calls for a special spice mixture called northern spices. For this we have to mix piment, nutmeg, black pepper, salt, cardamom, ginger and dried turnip berries. I like to use the entire spices and ground them in with mortar and pestle, since they have a stronger flavor. Ground spices tend to lose their potency rather quickly the longer they lay around, but are easier to quickly grab and use. Just go with your personal preference. If you go for the whole spice, you don't necessarily have to shell the cardamom seeds, since it is easier to pick out the big shells after smushing them a bit. Whenever a recipe calls for ginger, you will have to decide which version to use. Fresh ginger is more potent, but ground ginger can withstand higher temperatures without losing flavor. And both are obviously extremely healthy and great for an upset stomach, boosting your metabolism and can reduce your risk of diabetes. Isn't that neat? It is also associated with healing, love, passion, success and prosperity from a witchy point of view. Let's blend and smush everything with mortar and pestle. We then want to pour the spice mixture over the meat that we have cut in bite-sized pieces. If you can't hunt down any vulture meat or gore-tusk snout, you can always substitute with a good quality beef. And then it is time for some chef juice. Because can you really call it cooking if you're not holding a lovely glass of red in your hand? After all that wine, we have worked up the courage to brutally assault our veggies, chopping them into small pieces that would pleasantly fit into our mouth. And once we have that wielding arm going, we also won't spare the mushrooms, letting none of them escape their fate. Just do it quickly and they won't even know what's happening. I like to use the brown champignons as it gives the dish a more rustic look. They also have a noticeably stronger and complex flavor than their white siblings. After this brutal slaughter, we spread them together with the pearl onions on a covered baking tray. For a low-waste option on baking sheets, feel free to check the description box below and check out those reusable sheets that I have. If you don't find pearl onions, you can easily substitute them with red onions. Now all those veggies up and then sprinkle some sugar on them in order to lightly caramelize them. You can of course also use honey if you prefer. Pop them into the oven for about 15 minutes until all of the moisture has evaporated and the onions are slightly glazed. After, we set this mixture aside until the stew has almost finished. That is when we will add it to the dish again. Now we want to grab a stick of butter because fat just makes everything taste amazing, and coat a deep oven dish with it. We sprinkle the bacon into the pan and also pop it into the oven for 15 minutes, letting the fat render out. And now it is time to bring all that yumminess together. We sprinkle some flour over the bacon and mix it in. This is acting as a little binder and adds a bit more thickness and body to our stew later on. We then layer this with finely chopped garlic and the carrot pieces on top. Carrot adds a lovely sweet taste and a great bright color that will make your eyes happy and your mouth water. By the way, contrary to popular belief, it is actually healthier to eat cooked carrots as opposed to raw ones because the cooking process helps them release the beta-carotene that is so good for our skin, eyesight and immune system. A raw carrot gives you only 3% of that substance, while a cooked one will deliver closer to 40%. We add the pulled barley. If you can find any, you can also just use rice or experiment with other grains, like quinoa, buckwheat or farro, or even just use potatoes. Add 2 bay leaves to give some extra flavor to the stew, and then drown everything in wine. Just be sure you leave a little bit left in that bottle so you have something to drink when enjoying your dinner or while waiting for the stew to finish cooking. Then we add some broth. I chose a powdered bouillon that I filled up with water, but obviously if you have a fresh or homemade beef broth, that will make it taste even richer. Make sure all ingredients are nicely covered by the liquid so they get infused and cook evenly. And on top of all that goodness, we layer our Moloch eyes and buzzard meat, or the beef, if your hunt was unsuccessful. Now, our stew has to cook in a cozy warm oven at around 180 degrees Celsius for 3 to 3.5 hours. The longer the meat cooks, the softer it will get. Once in a while stir and add some more liquids to have the meat covered and kept moist. Feel also free to add some more liquids to your wine glass. It makes the whole process more enjoyable. This dish does take a while in the oven, and this is where the wine comes in handy, but only a couple of minutes to prepare. And when you can smell the coziness and comfort evaporating from your oven, your stew is done. I recommend serving it with fresh parsley, and it would definitely go great with a freshly baked buttered bread. I hope you enjoyed this lovely dinner, and next week we will make a sweet little dessert to it. This weekend I have some tips and tricks for my fellow witches on how to incorporate witchcraft in your day-to-day life without any extra cost or effort. I wish you a perfect day. See you soon!